So, before I start talking about Deltarune, I just wanted to let you guys know that this video isn't an in-depth on the game or some form of deep dive because A, there are already plenty of videos of that, and B, because I just wanted to play the game. I thought about doing a deep dive on the ins and outs of the game, and more I thought about it, the more uncomfortable it made me. Sure, yeah, I like Deltarune, but I don't think I'll ever be the type of channel to go into the deep lores and theories surrounding the game. I just wanted to be able to enjoy it. Yes, it has different dialogue choices and different scenarios depending on how you play it, but I don't have the time to do 10 different gameplays just from one video. That said, this video is less of a deep dive and more of a overview slash rant slash essay. Basically, here's how I'm gonna do things. I might do this in 2 separate videos, one for each chapter, just so I can cut on time because as of writing this, I am in the stage of moving houses, so editing both chapters might take longer. The game's been out for about 2 weeks, and on top of work and moving, I've already finished it yesterday. So the way I'm going to section this video is overall story slash personal gameplay, new characters, boss battles, ending, and theories. Now, my original plan was to start the script for chapter 3, make some theories as to what was going to happen in chapter 4, but I ended up just going ahead and playing chapter 4 because I couldn't wait to find out what happened. I mean, you would be pissed off too if it was just chapter 3. I almost said chapter 4 there. You would be pissed off too if it was just chapter 3 that came out, and the way that it ended, big cliffhanger. Not to say that like all the chapters thus far have not been cliffhangers, but I would have been mad. I was gonna make some theories about what I thought was gonna happen in chapter 4, but I ended up just playing chapter 4 because I couldn't wait to find out what happened. This video is, of course, going into major spoiler territory, so if you haven't played or watched Deltarune, then why the hell are you even on this video? Unless you're like me and can't really stand to sit through a whole entire deep dive on a video game and just want to see a simple yet vaguely detailed essay on the game, then I guess this video is for you. Seriously, I don't see a lot of people just do a playthrough and like wipe over the game. Yes, I know it's a complicated game, but I don't need to know every nook and cranny of it to enjoy it. Without further ado, so in case you don't remember, chapter 2 left off with Susie spending the night at Chris's house to do a little movie marathon. And while everyone was asleep, Chris rips out their soul and creates a dark fountain, which, wow, damn, like going through chapter 3 now, that's crazy. Here we are at the start of chapter 3. Chris and Susie wake up to discover they're in the dark world yet again, although they don't know why. You walk around for a bit until you find Rouse. But as you're walking, Susie and Rouse talk about the light world and potentially going to the festival that happens in town. This is when Rouse drops some crucial information about the light and dark world that had me like, huh? Okay, so stay with me. Rouse and the other Darkners aren't able to go into the light world because technically they don't exist. Like, the way he words it, it oddly made sense. You see, Susie, you and Chris live in the light world. A place where everything is as you see. That is, as long as there's light. You see, when it gets dark, things become more indistinct. A chair can look like a monster. A poster can look like it's moving. Your eyes can't see the truth anymore. And when the light runs out, you see nothing. Of course, your mind can't make anything of nothing. But what if it became even darker? Darker than dark. What if we could take away the light that wasn't there until we reached another side? If that were to happen, you could start to see things again, and hear them, and feel them. That is the dark world, Susie. An alternate view of reality through the lens of shadow. In other words, an illusion. The dark fountains change everything into a fantasy. In the light world, in reality, Lancer is just an average playing card. Queen is just a laptop. In other words, when the light comes back on, this world is no longer real. The places you go, the people you meet, none of them are even I, the one telling you this. I too am. That's his exact words. I don't know why it made it make so much sense but no sense at the same time. So Susie gets mad at Rouse for saying that he isn't real, and then God, this intro is everything. And he's 3D? Okay, now I feel like I know why it took so long for these chapters. Rossi suggests that since he can't come with them to the light world, that they could have fun with Mr. Tenna instead. And so, the game show commences! You get to play a multitude of questionnaires, mini boss battles, and even a little... Wait, is that Zelda? So yeah, you play these little games for a bit, while Tenna acts a little weird and goes in and out of the room until you meet... a weather-inspired pair that consists of the cloud and sun. Depending on who you pick more is which level will end up go crying and leaving. That's how you win. Just by breaking them up, Sun Boy and Cloud Girl. You need to dry biscuit like him. I feel like she would have like a kind of British accent, I think. I think the main reason I like these two were their designs and also their relationship / like dynamic. They get jealous and say things they don't mean and learn to regret it later and even apologize for saying what they said. I expected it to be Sun and Moon, but it being Sun and Cloud, I don't know, just I like the dynamic a little more. Also, their little nicknames for each other are just adorable. After you break up the two, Tenna brings you back to play Zelda, a console game. Yeah, just a console game. One where you have to take pictures and reunite the lovers until... Depending on who you choose is who finds who. I liked Alnina more, so it's Lanina who finds at the 11 point with...
Rules card.
The three of them decide to become a throuple, and that's when it's time for... Look at them! Look at Rouse. I'm indeed a Rouse stan. He's literally the cutest goat boy I've ever seen. Look at his little beard. He's just so cute. Look at his little mohawk. Look at him go. And with that, guys, the game show comes to an end. Let's say thank you to all these lovely people. Oh, motherfuck. Susie and Rouse ask to stop playing the game, and Tenna just shrinks, but Rouse, being the nice one, he just says it wouldn't hurt to play just another. So this dude just jumps for joy, and oh yeah, he's one of them guilt trip types, ain't he? That's when you're allowed to go into the back room before the show starts, where you get to see the lovely throuple on the couch and Lancer doing this, and also going into the game even backier rooms and playing another game. Now, I didn't get past this, but I saw that if you get it to the end of the game, your character, like, comes out. Or I think that's for, like, a different part of the game. I don't know. I didn't get to that part. But it's essentially a part in the game where, like, you go back, you play the console game, the one that's missing the controller, and then Susie comes back there to ask you what's going on. And yeah, your soul, I think, apparently, or your game character that you're controlling tries to like, I guess, like kill Susie, but Chris like yanks her out of the way. But I couldn't get past like whatever this was. I don't know, I just kept messing up and it was really pissing me off, so I was like, forget it, it's not important. But it kind of was. I'll be honest though, there are some holes in my gameplay because I couldn't figure out how to get through the puzzle. But there's also another part where Susie comes to the back and Chris pulls her out of the way before you, the player, can hurt her. But I never got that. Probably because I quit and just decided to go to the game show. But Susie says fuck that because Tenna's been acting weird around them, so you kind of decide to look around. And while you're looking around, you find a pretty princess in a gacha ball. No, wait, it's Torio. Tenna finds you, traps you, and forces to play the game until you like it. And that's when he makes the rules and plays the game, but they come off, kind of depressing, dude. Let's go out and the three of you make a sneak around for the bosses, including water coolers, because why not? And sneak around with this scared staff following behind you. You even find your way behind another set of curtains, and oh my god. You play a cowboy shooting minigame. I'm not gonna lie, this is actually one of my favorites. After making it through some more boss battles and puzzles, you make it to Tenna doing this. And then it's time for the final boss. Tenna talks about how when Chris was younger, he used to have so many people over for the holidays. How he used to watch him with joy and play games with his brother. Then less and less people showed up and Azrael went to college. No one uses TV anymore.
Let the game begin!
Tenna says all you have to do is get to 1,000 points and he'll end the game. How hard could this be? Okay. After you defeat Tenna, Susie talks about her past to be able to relate to him. This makes him talk about the night and how he whispered to him that if he helped him, he wouldn't be thrown away and could play forever. The three agreed to convince Torio to give Tenna to another family that will love him. And Tenna presents Torio and is about to give her back to them, but... The what? The Roaring Knight appears to recapture Torio. Susie and Chris manage to get out of the dark world and end up seeing Undyne get captured by the Roaring Knight and brought into the shelter. This is where chapter 3 ends. Not gonna lie, if that shit ended here, and there wasn't a follow-up chapter, I would have been so pissed. Now that we've wiped over the surface of the game, let's get a bit more into the new characters and boss battles. Tenna is Chris's old TV that his family doesn't use anymore. He's fairly tall and has a TV-shaped head and long nose. He dresses like an old TV show host in a red suit with long coattails and has a lot of expressions like this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. Yeah, this dude I like this dude, okay? Deep down, Tenna just doesn't want to be thrown away. He's old, only broadcasting reruns. To himself, he's useless. That is until the Roaring Knight comes and said if he helped his instructor main characters, he would be able to play forever. And Tenna liked this. But after talking with Susie and Rouse, he agrees to forget the night and give back Torio. I did look up to see what happens to Tenna in chapter 4, and it basically said that if you spare enough allies or got to 1,000 points, then Susie would be able to somewhat fix him. I was a little worried for my gameplay because I played chapter 1, I believe, on my Switch, chapter 2 on my computer, and 3 and 4 on my cousin's PlayStation. If you're wondering why, it's because at certain points I didn't have access to my Switch or computer, and I didn't want to have to wait to play it, so I just bought it on my cousin's PlayStation. Tenna's battles consist of mini-games and dodging his attacks. I'm sure you can attack him until he loses, but I stuck with just getting to 1,000 points. The mini-games include Kitchen Game, Rock Out, Shoot Mini Tennas, Shoot or Be Shot At, Bounce That Ball, and also this supposed secret minigame I didn't get, one where Susie's like in a dino costume. His avoidables consist of All-Star Cast, Slice of Life, and Rim Shot. I think this has to be one of my favorite boss battles. I'll do a tier list at one point, but Tenna's was actually pretty hard and fun to do. This is the first chapter where I felt like I actually had to plan my next move, deciding whether or not to heal when my characters needed it or push it to the end of the fight, but that ended up biting me because I thought that as soon as I reached 1,000 points it would end, but instead, this boss battle seems more of the waiting it out type. It's very decision based. Depending on whether or not you choose El Nina or La Nina's attacks more depends on who stays. For my playthrough, I don't know. If I felt a little weird when El Nina kept mentioning that the only reason La Nina feels good about being picked is because his name is first. So I started choosing Nina a bit more, and that made Nina cry and leave. Most of their attacks are pretty basic. I'm not saying that is like a bad thing though. Since I did struggle a bit, I don't really attack since to me it seems a bit ineffective. Most of their attacks just rain cloud based where you have to avoid them, and even fucking this. I don't know why, these attacks and I hate them. I don't know why, I like these attacks, but I hate them at the same time. I immediately attached onto these characters just for the design and a bit of their dynamic. Also their boss fight with
rules card,
because they just start arguing and pulls out this laser pointer and it's just like attack here, and he just ends up giving up, and God, I love this game. But that's it for as much as the gameplay and characters. Now I want to talk about the ending. Chapter 3 ends with the Roaring Knight capturing Undyne and bringing her through the light world and into the shelter south of town. Chris and Susie manage to get out of the dark world and run to find Undyne, but the knight shuts the door before you can make it. Susie bangs on the door and a piece of the door comes off, revealing the 3 symbols: a pine tree, a police badge, and the Deltarune, as well as a screen for a code. Honestly, I don't know too much to say with this portion of the video. The only thing I feel like I can really talk about is the ending and what I think will happen next, even though I've already played Chapter 4 and still remember my initial thoughts after playing Chapter 3. First things first, me as well as many others thought that the Roaring Knight was Chris for 3 main reasons that had to do with Chapter 3. When Queen mentions the knight, well, just look at Chris. They're dressed as a knight. And the fact that at the end of Chapter 3, they make a dark fountain. This had me thinking that Chris was the one making dark fountains and us, the player, are the ones that patch it up. But that's been thrown out the window since there is an actual Roaring Knight now. As for the symbols and the code, I think the symbols tell who might have a code, or possibly that all 3 of whoever these symbols symbolize might have to be together to open the shelter. Or even that these 3 people have something to do as to why the shelter is locked. The police badge for sure symbolizes Undyne, but what about the other 2? Well, I think that the pine tree might have to do with Noelle. Maybe even her family. I don't know if that's just the antlers that make me think about the pine tree symbol, but what about the Deltarune? Now, I've seen speculations talking about how the Deltarune might symbolize Gaster. I'll be honest, I don't know anything about this mystery character, but I have seen tons of theories that he has something to do with everything. He's been in the back seat since Undertale, and who knows, he might show up in a later chapter. But that's all I got for this video today. I hope you liked it just as much as I liked making it. Bye!